So we've got a very special guest today. He is not only a husband and a dad, he's also a real estate investor, a rising rock star, a true rising rock star in sub two. He's a specialist, especially in helping people get their first deal, which is what we're here to talk about today. My good friend, Mr. Big Mike Loera. Big Mike, how are you, man?
Hey, Sunny. Thank you for having me, man. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great too. I'm excited to have you here and lots of people with us today to ask some great questions. Before we get into that, for people that don't know you, Big Mike, where in the country are you?
I am in one of the hottest places on earth. I'm in Yuma, Arizona, born and raised.
Literally one of the hottest, right? Temperature wise, right?
Yes, that's why there's so many churches here because it feels so close to hell.
Big Mike has plenty of jokes prepared for us today, so that is just the first.
That
Big
joke.
Mike, tell us a little bit about your background. How did you even get into real estate investing?
Oh, wow. That's a whole story in itself. So, yeah, like I said, I was born here in Yuma, Arizona. Um, to jump to the good stuff, I think I was about 10, 11 years old. My parents got divorced, so I come from a broken marriage household. And leading up to what got me into this, I remember being 14 years old and my mother was going through a foreclosure process. And I remember seeing cars swing by and take pictures and I was like, what's going on? At the time, I would do whatever I could to help my mother out. I would wash cars for $3, cut lawns for $5. Um, it wasn't until like the winter of when I was 14 years old, I decided I had a bright idea to help my mom with the house, with the payments. I went to the border, which is 15 minutes away, hopped on a bus at 1 in the morning. I didn't even know my social. I mean, I was 14 years old, but they had a list. So I would just mix the numbers that were above me. And here you go, that's my social. And hopped on a bus and went out to the lettuce fields. We were there by 2 in the morning cutting lettuce. And eventually my mother found out and she told me, you're going back to school. We got out of that situation. Thing what that created in me at the very young age was if I ever wanted to do something, I had to figure it out. My dad wasn't around. And I think it's embedded in Hispanic culture that you ain't asking nobody for help, you'll figure it out. So fast forward to 2015, I was in Denver, Colorado, chasing my career to become a journeyman lineman. I built power lines, and I told my wife, I'll climb the pole so she doesn't have to. You know what I'm saying, Sonny? Fast forward to 2015, man, I was just broke. I had never left home, and I was homeless. I went down all the way to being homeless, eating tuna cans, living out of my truck, sleeping at the job site. And I was just trying to chase my career, man. The next big milestone in my life was November of 2019. I passed the test and became a journeyman lineman. And I was like, okay, cool, I did it. It's a great, great career, high earning W-2, great benefits. But I've always known there's been more to me. This is just a vehicle to get to where I'm going. Um, got married. We have 3 kids, very, very busy. And we bought our first house in 2019, at the end of 19. So I remember talking to my wife. I was like, hey, you know what? It'd be cool to get into real estate. Let's have like 5 properties that are cash flowing, right? Start taking over some of our W-2 income. So that's where it started for me. We sold our first property. I didn't know any better. I waited 2 years to mitigate capital gains tax. And to the penny, we made $100,000. Now, my thought was, I'm going to go to the auction and go buy a house cash, and that'll be my first rental. So I did. I showed up to the auction and I met this cool guy. He seemed really cool at the time and asked me, are you new here? I was like, yeah, it's my first time. I was super excited. I got money in my pocket. So he's like, oh, yeah, I come here all the time. I buy a few homes. Little did I know there's sharks in every county, every city, and their main job is to buy those homes. They don't want new people there. So finally, the house that I was waiting for came up. I raised my hand and his demeanor changed. He looked at me sideways with like a evil kind of smile and tripled my bid. I was like, wow. So obviously that got me out of there. One thing about me, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs, we don't take no for an answer. There's always got to be a way. So with my limited knowledge in real estate at the time, I remember asking myself on my drive, well, that house was foreclosed on. How do you get the house before it goes to the auction? That's when I figured out there was a pre-foreclosure period. In Arizona, they have 90 days to catch up the payments. So then I got on YouTube University, right? Like the rest of us. And naturally came across Pace Morby. So I just started absorbing every video. I was like, okay, I can get these properties subject to, meaning taking over somebody else's payments. All I got to do is catch up the arrears and put the deed under my name. Like, that's great. I'm going to do it. And I remember people from the sub two, like recruiters or closers, they would reach out to me because I was watching the videos, getting me to join sub two. But taking into account everything I've done up to this point in my life, I figured it out myself. So I was not going to go pay whatever. I can't remember what I paid to join sub two, but I was like, I ain't paying nobody for mentorship at all. I'll figure it out myself. They would call me every month. It took them 5 months. Hey, why sub two? Why do you want to do a deal with Pace Morby? I'm like, I don't even know a guy. I'm not going to do a deal with him. You're not closing me. It just kept going, going, going. And I said, you know what? I didn't know what contracts to use. I didn't know what title company to use. So, I'm going to give this a try. I had seen a lot of good reviews. I looked up his company, make sure it was legit and not a scam. It just sounded too good to be true. And the moment I joined, man, it took my life somewhere else, honestly. Um, I got into doing the programs, the curriculums, and we had a really nasty, bad emergency in the family. My sister got in a really, really bad accident. So we had to take care of her here in Yuma for a while. Once she was okay, I told myself, okay, I'm gonna get back into studying this stuff. In about 2 to 3 weeks, I finished the rest of the courses. And I said, okay, cool. I got a good idea. I'm gonna go door knock, which is what I wanted to do at the time. The very next day, my whole crew gets laid off from work. It felt like one step forward, three steps back, just one thing after another. I'm like, man, I just spent thousands of dollars to join this. At the time, I thought it was a mentorship. Come to find out, it's just a community of go-givers. I was like, man, what am I going to do? So I buckled down like any man of the family would, right? Or moms. I told myself, if I don't land a deal this month, my family is not going to eat. I was okay financially. I was going to be okay for a few months, but I had to corner myself and put myself against the wall. So I like door knocking. I'm such a visionary. I cannot cold call. I started door knocking homes. And just to give you guys an example of how many homes I drove versus how many, let's say you guys are trying to land your first deal door knocking. It took me 3.5 weeks to land my first deal. The exact number, I'm not too sure, but it's above 300 homes. And I'm pretty sure it's 312 homes that I door knocked.
So, Big Mike, you talked about your mom and helping her when you were growing up. How did that help motivate you to pursue pre-foreclosures in particular?
Just because I remember the hard times. She had two jobs at the time, and just seeing her struggle, just seeing that struggle, I was like, you know what? When I grow up, I'm not gonna have a money problem. And we all do, right? At different levels, we all have money problems. But that's one thing I promised myself that I was not gonna be average. I was not gonna be struggling. I know one of the biggest costs of divorces is financial situations. So I never wanted to put myself in that situation. That has been the biggest motivator to be not average.
And that sounds like it really helped you to persist through 312, 311 no's until you finally got that yes on 312. Can you walk us through what kind of daily routine did you have that helped you to continue that path until you finally got a yes?
Yeah. So like I was mentioning, I had no structure. When I joined Sub 2, I was not networking. I am not the same person I was 2.5 years ago. You have to reinvent yourself every so often. So when I say I didn't have any structure, I was not focused on one thing. Guys, the only reason I landed a deal is because I'm really stubborn and consistent. Um, man, after that many no's, man, it's not fun. You just feel like giving up every day. My routine consisted of waking up around 7, leaving the house around 7:30, and I would pull a foreclosure list. I would pull for sale by owners list. I would go on Facebook and see what was out there for sale, and I would just start driving. If you guys have heard of driving for deals or driving for cash or driving for deals, it's literally picking up a neighborhood and seeing what homes are in distress, whether it's a broken window or a roof, abandoned vehicle. I would write those addresses down and start creating a list. So that was more towards the morning and the afternoons, I would just start driving all the addresses for the day.
And what was really going through your mind when you were doing that? You were continually getting no's because you had a routine that you were getting more and more structure, more and more in place. But how did you combat all the negative self-talk?
I don't think you overcome something like that. I think you just embrace it. You just put up with the reality. I knew it was going to take me a while to get my first deal because I sounded new. I was nervous when I would door knock. Man, I remember door knocking my first home. I door knocked really lightly and then I walked away hoping they didn't answer the door. I was nervous. After doing it quite often, you come to realize that you're not there to sell anything. You might be their answered prayer, right? You might have a way to save their mortgage. So that's when it started changing for me that, I'm here to help people. And if there's a deal to be done, then we'll talk about it. But my main goal is helping people save their foreclosure.
That's great. And for someone who's an investor who's looking to get their first deal, what is really the minimum timeline that they need to stick with a strategy to attempt to break through and get that first deal?
So I don't think it's an exact number, but a good guideline would be to do something consistently for at least 90 days. And when I say consistently, you are hitting it like there's no tomorrow. I think 90 days is a good timeline for sure.
Okay, 90 days. And what do you say to people that say, well, gosh, 90 days, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money to really get my first deal, but I really want my first deal. So what do you say to help them overcome those mental barriers?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everything that you just asked right now narrows down to three questions. Okay. Every deal that I've gotten, I've done it by generating free leads, which we can go over later. And no, you do not need money. I don't know who lied to you guys, but you do not need money to invest into real estate. Okay. But to answer that question, it boils down to three questions. Number one, and the most important one, what is it that you want? Let me repeat it. What is it that you really want? Number two, who is doing what you want to do? And last but not least, number three, how can you provide value to that person? Being a fly on the wall on a transaction, oh my God, it's invaluable. You're going to learn so much. So I think once you answer those three questions, you're off to a great, great start.
Sounds like a really good framework for people to keep in mind to help overcome the mental negative self-talk. Mr. Paul, you're on live with Big Mike Loera. What's your question?
Oh man, this is a wonderful Zoom. Sunny, good to see you. Big Mike, mijo, how are you, man? You're looking fantastic. What is the one thing that made you realize that you were doing that this is going to work? You're having, it just turned you around and you're experiencing success.
So when I knew it was going to work was when I door knocked the house here in Yuma. And like I mentioned before, I never show up trying to buy their home. I'm there showing them options where we can save the foreclosure or show them how to do a loan modification. And this lady was just so grateful. She ended up crying on my shoulders. We ended up praying that day. So whether it was a deal or not, touching somebody and giving them hope, that's when I realized, you know what? I'm doing the right thing. Whether it's a deal or not, I want to help people. Because
That's
I remember
amazing.
how hard it was with my mom. I wish somebody would have helped her.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing. Thank you.
Jay, you're on live with Mr. Big Mike Loera. What's your question?
Big Mike, how are you, brother Jay? Nice to meet you.
Me, Jay, what's up, brother?
Good, man. Question for you. What painful lessons or expensive mistakes should I avoid when pursuing my first deal? And how do I protect myself from doing it without overanalyzing?
Okay, great. I see a lot of people spending a lot of money when they're first getting started when they don't even have the basics down first. Okay, I'm sure you've experienced it. I've seen your social media. I love it, by the way. How many people a week try to sell you leads, right? And they get expensive.
Yeah.
Buying all these programs. Okay, fun fact, guys, I don't even have a CRM. I wouldn't even know how to use one. Okay, it goes to show you how long can you stay small before you go big. Okay. I see a lot of people spending all kinds of monies with all this equipment and program. I like to keep things simple. So learning how to generate free leads. Oh my goodness. There are so many out there. Okay. Another thing that I do want to mention because I was at fault, just because you land a deal, it doesn't mean it's a deal. I was so excited. It was 2 weeks after I landed my first one. I landed two more 2 weeks later. And that third one, should have never done it.
Mm-hmm.
Trust your gut because it feels good. It's like this adrenaline rush. Oh my God, I got a deal. I got to do it. No, you don't. Be very strict on your buy box that you're going to buy and hold if that's what you're doing. And it's responsible for yourself, for your business, and your family. It's going to affect all those three areas.
Thank you, brother.
Good to see you, Jay.
Good to
Love
see you
you
too.
That's a good point. Right? Not every deal is really, or not every potential deal is really the deal that you should be doing. And if it is not a deal you should be doing, it may actually still be a good deal for somebody else, right? So speaking of which, Big Mike, why do people call you Big Mike?
Oh man, I love that question. So, like I mentioned before, I like to break things down on everything that I do. I remember the mental jungle it is when you start getting into real estate, because one day you'll see, do Airbnb. That's the way to do it. Very next video, Airbnb is dead. Do co-living. So you're like, man, what do I do? Right? So I like to break things down on how I do things. By the way, every deal that I've done to this point has been with $0 out of pocket. Okay. And the way I do that is B, I borrow money, I invest it into real estate, and that real estate generates me passive income, keeping me in the deal $0 out of pocket. People seem to like that structure. You borrow the money, you implement it into real estate, that money pays back to lenders. It's a cycle. So that is why, Sonny.
I love that. That's a way to remember your name and to not only that, but to remember what is it that really creates a positive wealth cycle, right?
Yep.
Calvert, you're on live with Mr. Big Mike Loera. What's your question?
What's up, Big Mike? Nice to see you, brother.
Albert, what's up, brother?
I noticed something that's on your shirt that really hits home for me. I know it's like supposed to represent a line, but it also looks like a cross.
It's a journeyman lineman climbing the pole.
I see that. Um, following up to that, you said that you overcame your fears and you're like, I can't do this. I can't give up unless I, put in the work. At the end of the month, I can't lose, right? Your fear of failure was stronger than your fear of not doing it. So that's great. But my question to you is, how do you balance, making sure that you're taking care of your family and your real estate, doing real estate?
Great question. Oh my God, great question. As an entrepreneur, as a parent, as a husband or a dad, you have to be very, very ambitious and strict with your own time. Okay. So if I may, I'm going to give you a broad view of what I do during the week. Okay. Monday through Saturday, I wake up at 1:45 in the morning. I commute 5.5 hours to and from work because I never wanted to be a dad on the road. I work 60 to 70 hours a week. Once I'm home, you will not get a hold of me. That is my precious time with my family, my weekends. We make them count. Okay, whether we got to do things as a family, take care of business, go to the park with the kids. It's actual quality time. It's not me at home when my kids are around me and I'm on my phone. It is actually me looking at them and engaging with them. Another thing on that is my wife. My wife's name is Paloma. She's probably in here watching. She better be. We decided to go on this together. And we knew it was going to be a big commitment. Without her, this will not be possible. She keeps me pushing. She motivates me some days. She is the cape, and when she hugs me, I become a superhero, and it just keeps going. So having a calendar, being strict with your time, oh my God, it would change. It seems like you have extra time sometimes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Calvert. We'll be in touch, brother.
Rob, you're on live with Mr. Big Mike Loera. What is your question?
Hey guys, what's up, Sonny? Long time no see. Mike, Big Mike, what's happening?
Money
Hey.
Rob, good friend.
Hey.
How you doing, brother?
Hey, brother, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Hey, man, as you know, I've been doing some direct to agent. And for those of you that don't know, I'm in sub two. I've been for 8 months. Really been working on my visibility here in JJ's group, getting to know a ton of people, especially Big Mike. And like I said, I've been doing some direct to agent. You and I had a little interaction with a possible opportunity in the past. But let me ask you, when you're doing your door knocking, what's been your most success? I know you have to resonate, find the commonality there because they're going through a difficult time, and you got to find that difficult time within you to find some type of commonality to show that empathy. But what have you found to be so successful? I mean, when you're not, to get their attention.
Yeah, so I can share with you guys, I guess a script that I've come up with over hundred thousands of homes by now. And when I talk to them, it's very to the point, very simple. I let them know why I'm there, how I can help. And there's a couple closing tactics within my script. Okay, you ready for it? Knock, knock. I'm Captain Sable-Home. How you doing? Just kidding. Not like that. Okay, so I go up to them, and it's all about tonality, right? The last thing they want to see is somebody buttoned up, a nice vehicle. They're going through a hard time. So I literally wear shorts, flip-flops, and a backwards hat. I'm just out there, average Joe. And when I door knock, I say, hey, my name's Mike, and I specialize in getting the lenders off your back. I see that there might be a problem with the mortgage and the lender on this property. Is that the case? I say might because I don't want to emphasize that I know that they're going to auction. And when I leave it as an open-ended question, is that the case? Rob, right now, me and you, if I were to tell you, hey, Rob, why did you wear a pink shirt today? What are you going to say?
Because I like.
Oh, but you don't. You have a gray one, right? So let me ask you again. Hey, Rob, why do you have a pink shirt? Okay,
I
it
don't.
is human behavior to want to correct a wrongfully stated fact. So when you leave it as an open-ended question, is that the case? Naturally, they want to answer you why they're going to do something. And that's what we call finding the bunnies.
Awesome.
The 3 Ds for people who are going through this is usually death, decease, or divorce. So once you start elaborating and start talking to them, then you can see where you can help them.
Wow, that's very helpful because I've been doing primarily phone calls. So, but that's good to know as far as the door knocking portion. But appreciate that. But a last question, the last one, real quick. But what's your gapping record for going up that pole, man?
Oh man, I used to be a lot faster, brother, before I got married. I have no idea. I get gassed out halfway up, but I get it done.
Ooh, man, you got those guns, brother. You're climbing that pole. Appreciate it, bro. So thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Rob. That is funny. And Big Mike, you were sharing with me before this show, there are some good days and some good hours during the day to go and door knock. What are those days and hours?
Yeah, based on my experience, the best hours to go is from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. I've tried every hour. I've tried different neighborhoods at different hours. And for me, overall across the board, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. has been where I get the most engagement.
4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And what are the days again?
Oh man, I'll go any day.
Any day.
Yeah, I'll go any day. Yeah. If it's a holiday, I won't, right? But hey, Merry Christmas. Would you like to sell your house? No.
Captain Save-A-Home.
That's right.
That's funny. So we're ready for our next question. We've got John Lim coming up here. John, are you there to ask your question?
Yeah, I'm there. Big Mike, now I'm on respect to Gator lending. I'm trying to figure out how to help sub-2 members get the deal going. From what I heard from one or two of the sub-2 members, they're saying they're getting funding for long-term deals in terms of funding for 1 to 3 years. Is extremely difficult to get. In your opinion, if you are looking at funding, what is the best way to provide capital for them to close the deal? Because I'm trying to work out with a lender a customized lending portfolio to sub-2 members. So maybe if you can tell me what's needed mostly to close the deal.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I pay my lenders. Okay, I know people have their interest rates or how long they want to do it for. With me, I do things a little different. I don't follow all the rules. I make my own. So what I pay my lenders is 8 to 12%. I've never done 8, it's usually 10 or 12, and usually between 6 to 12 months. When I acquire a property, I know how much that property is going to make me. And if it's not going to be enough to pay them back, I always ask my lenders, hey, I can go get another private money lender to pay the difference, or they can extend it and keep the lending going. But 6 to 12 months is typical with me. 10 to 12% is usually what I pay.
Is that between 6 to 12 months? Do you have instances where most sub-2 members will require maybe a year or two for the loan term?
Yeah, but do I know any that need some?
Yeah, whether that's something that they need or is 6 to 12
Oh,
is generally good.
no, absolutely. There's people that would love to do 18 months, 24 months. I mean, talk to me. I'll do one for 10 years if you want. But yeah, no, the longer the better, really. You let the
Okay,
property stabilize longer, create that more cash flow. Absolutely.
all
Did that
right.
answer your question, John?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
If you have another question, you can raise your hand again. Next up, we've got, is it Maheda? Please correct me if I'm saying your name incorrectly.
Hey,
Hey,
hi, Big
Mahina.
Mike. How you doing? Hey,
Good.
everybody. What's up? Um, my name's Majida Harvey. I'm a Gator from Texas. My question is this. I want to know what is your most unconventional or creative deal that you've done so far, and what would you say made it a success? That's my
Okay,
question.
I got two for you. We did a 0% interest seller finance in Tulum, Mexico, south of Cancun. So we went international last year. And what made that one a success was networking. Okay, I met this guy in sub two, Andrew McGuire. Shout out to Andrew. And if it wasn't for him, I would have never even known about this deal. I didn't know him too well back then. And when he mentioned that he had a deal, I was blasting his phone. I'm Big Mike. I do what I say. I want that deal. If it wasn't for Andrew or networking with people, that would have never been a success. The second one that was pretty creative is shout out to Troy. He's on the call. He posted a picture of 69 Camaros, Mustangs, and Chargers, I believe. And that reignited my fire for a 69 Camaro. So a couple weeks later, somebody calls me where I build my trucks and they're like, hey, there's a 69 Camaro. Would you like it? I was like, yeah, let me go check it out. Come to find out, the guy was tired of working on it. He was getting older in age. What does that sound like? It sounds like a tired landlord, right? And that's when it clicked for me. I was like, I wonder if I can get this Camaro creatively. And I did. We did a down payment. I'm letting the cash flow from one properties pay the monthly payment on it, and I'm zero out of pocket. So now I call it the Creative Camaro. I actually brought it home today.
I want to talk about the newer entrepreneurs that are just starting, but they're stuck at watching YouTube videos all day. They're stuck at, trying to figure out every single aspect of the business. What can you say in order for people to change that mindset that you don't have to know it all and specialization? I see it, newer investors coming into the business. They look like Boy Scouts. They want to be in Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, all these other states, and they want to be a jack of all trades. They end up doing nothing. What mindset shift do you think? What words of encouragement can you give for those people looking to get their first deal, but they're just stuck out and in front of the screen? I got to learn this next thing in order to do this.
Brother, that was me 2.5 years ago. I did a video on this where I have a shotgun and it shoots a target and it just splatters everywhere. Then I got a single bullet rifle, pick the target, and you hit it. When you're starting out, especially with creative, there are so many different strategies, so many ventures that you can go off to. It literally comes down to the same three questions. What is it truly that you want? Who's doing it? And how do you provide value? JB, oh my God, you cannot be like, I want this deal for myself because I want the money or I want the profits. You will get further in life when you have a group of people. Real estate is a team sport. Oh my God, this group is fantastic because this is where you meet your next teammate. Julie, she's on here. She's my underwriter. I know how to underwrite, but she's gangster at it. Why would I do that when she can do it and I'll just pay her off the deal, right? So find your squad up, right? Find your crew and you cannot do everything yourself. It is way too much. So it always comes down to what is it that you really want. That's what I tell people. I network 2 hours a day. I've been doing that for a year now with newbies. And it always comes down to that because we'll hop on a call 3 months later, and now they're into multifamily and RV parks when they were just trying to get a condo. I'm like, okay, let's go back a couple steps. Why did you start doing this, and what is it that you want really? Focus. What does focus stand for? Focus on course until success.
Mm.
And if you want to put a timeline on it, do it for 90 days consistently.
Beautiful. Thank you, brother.
Pansy, you're on live with Mr. Big Mike Loera. What's your question?
Hi, Mike. I really did like what you had said about spending time and actually like not answering your phone and focusing on your children and your family. Is this something that you implicated like from the beginning with your family, no matter what your career choice was at the time? Or is this something that you implemented more of becoming the entrepreneur?
Oh my God, beautiful question. Okay. Shout out to my wife because I told myself I will not get married until I finish my career because I've worked so far in 32 states. I've traveled a lot chasing the storms. I never wanted to be a dad on the road. My dad wasn't with me. I wish he was. I told myself, A, I'm not going to be average. I'm not going to have financial problems. And I am going to be an actual father figure. So that has been something that since I was a little kid, I told myself, I'm going to be a dad. So before or after entrepreneurship, that has always been the focus. Becoming an entrepreneur has been a game changer. We've had to adapt. We have 3 kids now. So it seems like every 6 months, I'm a new person. You have to reinvent yourself and adapt. It is very important as an entrepreneur to know how and know when to pivot. Can't just stay stuck in one way.
I agree. Yeah. The reason I had asked it that way is because I've had the pleasure of actually being able to stay home with my children, to take care of them while my husband worked. And yes, I did all of those things to help, keep everything running. And it's a big job, but it's also a big job for the person who's going out to make the income and all of that. And I understand all of it, but I always put my time, like people, the profit first with your money, you get paid first. I always felt like my time and my family's time should be taken first before anything else took my time. So that's where I was trying to get, if that's what it sounds like for you, like your family is the main reason. So they get your time before anything else matters. And
Yep.
I like that for people. So,
Thank you, Pansy. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
yeah. So thank you. And I
Yeah.
hope that others can be able to also set themselves up that way too along the way.
Yeah, let's connect soon, Pansy. We'll talk.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pansy. What a great connection between family first and profit first, because it is the same concept. So thank you very much for making that connection. Anthony, you're on live with Big Mike Loera. What's your question?
Hey, what's going on, Big Mike? How we doing, brother?
What's up, bro?
Good. My question is kind of piggybacking off of Jay and Pensy's. Sorry, Pansy. Hope I said your name correctly. But I heard you mention the pivot. So I'm hearing the backstory of how you got into real estate, what kind of drove you and pushed you to kind of get going from the mom and things like that. And then you kind of get your first deals and get things rolling. And then also I hear the beginners kind of jumping all over to RV parks and different things like that. My question is, at what point do you feel like that first pivot came to where you went from wholesaling to actually starting to buy, acquire, and really kind of turn this real estate thing into like a whole full-fledged business?
So it's actually backwards. I started buying and holding because I started using private money lenders from the very get-go. So buy and hold, buy and hold, buy and hold, to the point where my wife quit her job. We had enough cash flow to replace her income. It was great. She is now working because she got an amazing opportunity at a title company. So now I get first dibs on pre-foreclosures. But it was actually backwards. I started buying and holding. And like I mentioned, I've been networking for so long, 2 hours a day. That's my minimum, but I always go way over. I'm still driving, right? And I told myself, January 1st, you know what? Instead of just connecting the dots with people, I'll just step in as a closer. I know somebody who can dispo. And oh my God, it has been a game changer. Let me tell you. So now I network from 3 to 5 in the morning. Best times to reach me, everybody. Um, and I just step in as a closer. So here's how I look at it, brother. I painted the bullseye and drew the target around it. Deals come to me now. Why? Because I learned how to be visible in this group. People know who Big Mike is. And people tell me, hey, I just started. I have a possible deal. I just don't know how to pitch it. Come on, let's do it. And I have my dispo manager, Lorraine, ready to go with VIP buyers. And we all win. We split it even. It's a win-win-win.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, let's talk soon, brother. Next week, we have an appointment.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
All right.
You also mentioned title companies as a potential lead source. Briefly, what are some potential lead sources that someone can get started with for free, specifically for pre-foreclosures?
Okay. You guys ready? I love teaching this. Don't be spending money on leads when you're first starting out. The way I do it, this is in Arizona. I know there's different rules. But number one, the courthouse. At the courthouse, they usually have a billboard, sometimes inside, sometimes outside. And on the billboard, because it's public information when somebody's going to auction, they'll have the property that says trustee sale or notice of default, and it has the address and the person's name. So I used to go there and snap a picture and start writing addresses down and start driving them. That was the first one. Second one, auction.com. There's many out there, but I like using auction.com. It's really easy to navigate. I live in Yuma, Arizona. So when I go to auction.com, I don't put Yuma, Arizona. I put Yuma County. So I get all the surrounding cities or towns around. When I do auction.com, I do it in conjunction with Zillow. Zillow also has an option to look at pre-foreclosures, but I like to see the layout of the house, what the condition was before or the last time that they sold it. And for me, so I already know what my exit strategy is. I rent by the room to traveling professionals, mainly traveling nurses. So I like to see, okay, is this property going to be able to add bedrooms here or there? And then the third one, because I'm very stubborn and I needed to find deals and I was not going to pay for anything. I come to find out that title companies have a list that goes out to investors. So all I did was call the title company and tell them, hey, I'm a local investor. Do you guys have a list of pre-foreclosures that go out regularly? It's like, oh yeah, join our list and you'll get it every month. Some companies are every week. Some title companies are every 2 weeks. So call your local title company. I know California, you can't do that in any other weird state. But definitely, oh my God, that's more than enough leads to get you started. And I'm in Yuma. It's only 100,000 people here. And it's more than enough, trust me.
I hope you all wrote that down, or you can check the recording later, but those are great examples of free sources.
The videos are on my Facebook.
Yeah, and he's made videos. You want to go check those out for sure to get more details. Next up, we've got Rafael Orozco. Let's bring up Rafael. Rafael, you're on live with Big Mike Loera. What's your question?
Thank you, Sandy. Big Mike, my brother, I have a question for you. I remember one conversation that we had at 3 in the morning. You were on your way to work, and I was barely gonna go to sleep. You know, this is something that a lot of people are not willing to do, right? We were talking about cameras and making videos. What impact has creating content made for you?
Oh my God. Night and day difference. About exactly a year ago, I met Pace Morby in Yuma. And he asked me, where are you on social media? And in my mind, I'm like, brother, I type with one finger. Like, I am not a computer guru, not yet. So he told me, start doing videos, start letting people know what you do, and start doing the meetups here in Yuma. I didn't know why or what outcome it would have. But a year later, it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. And if you're relatable, people want to do deals with you, you do a good job for everybody, leading with that attitude of servitude, brother, that is the perfect combination to just start climbing that Mount Everest. So you have to be visible. Social media is a must. I'm not saying you have to record everything or create content, but simply documenting when you're driving around, turn the camera on, and then compile the videos and upload them.
Thank you, brother. I love you, man.
Love you too, brother.
Thank you, Rafael. I hope everyone takes that to heart, and anybody can get started with creating content? What is a simple way to get started creating content if someone's not done it before? Like you said, documenting. What's an example? A couple examples of documenting versus like having to create content
Yeah, let's say
separately.
you're driving around the neighborhood, just start hitting record. And then let's say you're walking up to the property, just record your feet walking up to the property. And you do a couple of those, and then you can do like a voiceover. Hey guys, it's me driving around looking for pre-foreclosures, helping homeowners. Submit it, right? People are like, oh wow, he's doing door knocking. That's cool.
Like
Just
sharing tips when you're doing that. Like I'm going to this house, I'm going to do this, or
do I share a text?
do you share tips when you make those videos, or what kinds of things do you say? That's often a question I get. What do you say in those videos, or how do you know what to say?
I haven't really done tips. What I do every weekend is I pick a student or somebody, whether it's sub two or not, to go door knock with me. But that's a good point. I should start recording it, recording my conversations, and thank you. That's actually, I'm gonna create a series now.
Nice. All right, let's get to the next question. We've got Ileana coming up here, so let's bring her up. Ileana, we've got you live with Big Mike Loera. What's your question?
Hi, nice to meet you, Mike. Excuse me. I know we kind of talked here and there, but even though I feel like I didn't have a question, but I feel like I just needed to like just break the ice and just kind of make myself known. And I think that's where my biggest struggle is. And I think watching your videos just really intrigued me. So I guess that was my question, and it was kind of leading before I came on, like a little bit of getting visible, getting like known, because I feel like that's my biggest thing. Maybe I feel like I'm lacking that networking. And I guess one question that I did have that I just kind of came up with was like, when you go door knocking, do you have any scripts that you like practice? I guess that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do door knocking. Yet I'm like, okay, I knock, they answer the door, and it's like how do I get over that wall of like objections?
So that feeling doesn't go away, honestly. Like if I don't go door knock for let's say a month, I have a team that does that, and I go door knock, I'm like, oh yeah, that feeling is kind of like there again. But the more you do it, it goes away, and realizing that you're not there to sell anything. So I'll share with you the script that I have. Okay. Hello. I don't know if you want to write it down or if anybody wants to write it down.
I'm ready.
Hey, my name is Mike. In this case, Ileana, and I specialize in getting the lenders off your back. I see that there might be a problem with the mortgage and the lender on this property. Is that the case? And that's it. You don't say anything after that. And usually, I'm going to be brave enough to say that 9 out of 10 times, they start telling you why. And that's where
typically, okay, I see. And typically, these are just homes that you've kind of you did some sort of background research, right? Not just showing up to a random house and it's like they're not in that situation.
Yeah, these are all the prospects that I got from either the courthouse, auction.com, or the title company. Here's a golden nugget for you guys. How do I generate the most motivated leads? When I gave my list, you do need software for this, like DealSauce or PropStream. I go to the equity section and I put on the equity plus or minus 5%. I do it on purpose because even if they're going to auction and they cannot catch up to payments, a lot of people, what they do is they end up selling it because they have equity. At 5%, typically it's about 8 to 10% with commissions to sell property. Their hands are tied. They can't even do that. So that'll reduce that list by a lot. Like let's say you have 50 homes and then you end up with 8 once you put the 5% filter. But those 8 conversations are going to be most likely a deal.
Okay.
And I want to point out something. The power of becoming visible. So I remember when you messaged me back in like September, October-ish, it was on a video that I did that you create your own reality.
Yes.
As of a couple of days ago, Ileana reached out, her brother or cousin?
My brother.
Your brother looking for a home in Denver. Happens to know that I know people that wrap homes to families that don't qualify traditionally. So now we're finding a home for her brother. Isn't that great? Came from this group. Be visible.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of my biggest things. It's like I'm just like listening to you and to JJ. It's like, okay, doesn't have to be a big thing, but just throw your videos out there. So that's some homework.
Yep. Doesn't have to be perfect.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Mike.
Yeah, good to finally meet you.
Odette, you are live with Big Mike Loera. What's your question?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Hi, Big Mike, my homie, and
Odette, my homegirl.
hi, everybody. So I'm just so I am so blessed to have known Big Mike over here at JJ. So who's gonna do that for everybody? Now my question is, so for us newbies that haven't had, me being a gator, I have had friends. I spoke with a lot of friends to invest with me and start lending money through me. So a lot of them would get cold feet and all that. So in your suggestion, how do we get these people to trust us in that way we can, just expand our business?
Yeah, for sure.
Like say, a pre-foreclosure. So how do we fund them? How do we get them to deal with us?
You're talking about how do we get people to actually invest without getting cold feet?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So trust but verify, right? Even though we know each other and you trust me, I trust you, and I'm going to take your money to invest it. That's cool and all, but this is a transaction. You have to verify. You got to have your contracts in place, whether you're going to get first lien position or second lien position on the property. God forbid something happens to me, you got to have some sort of tie to that property so you can recuperate your money. So protecting your private money lenders is crucial. Okay. I have my close friends that they're like, bro, it's 10 grand here, take it. I don't care. That's how they are with me, right? When I did my first lending deal, I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't a pro at this. That first deal that I landed, it was literally a piece of paper that me and my best friend signed with the address and our signatures. That was it. That would never hold up in court, right? But I knew I got to take that imperfect action. And as I go along, I'll figure out how to do this the correct way and legally, right? But yeah, don't be afraid that you're going to lose your money. And if you do, deals go south, right? You have that paperwork in place every time. Never send money to another person. You send it to escrow, and then escrow, the title company, disperse the funds.
Okay, all right. So if I come across a property and I do need a lender, I'm going to contact you.
Go.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Big Mike.
Odette.
Evelyn, you're live with Big Mike Loera. What's your question?
Hi, Big Mike. Thank you, guys. I really love the fact that you said to document your journey. There's a lot of people in the industry that doesn't see it's like the iceberg. They only see the top where people get successful and they don't see all the struggles that everybody went through. And if you document your journey on social media, it was actually everybody will see what it really it is like, and it will keep you accountable too as well. Like you're not going to give up on this journey and your vision, your dream. So I really like that you said, that you advise everybody to document. My question to you is that do you know like the average like for people that gets into the real estate game, how long would it take for them to get a deal? Because that's like a number one question for everybody that comes through my path. How long is it going to take me? What do I need to do? So like from your experience, what is the average?
It's really hard to put a timeline on it because what is a deal for you might not be a deal for Sunny. Maybe Sunny's trying to land 300 unit multifamily and you're trying to do a single family home, right? But I've seen it very kind of common, 3 to 6 months. I've seen that posted quite a few times. I don't like to put timelines on things because let's say I tell you it took me 3 weeks, but then you're on week 3 and you don't see any, and then you're on week 4 and you don't see any progress. You're gonna be like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? You start self-doubting. Everybody is in their own individual journey. Your strengths might be my weaknesses and vice versa. So I wouldn't hone in so much on how long it should take, but on average, I have seen 3 to 6 months, 9 months. A lot of people it takes a year, but I think 6 months is a good average.
Average? Yeah, no. Well, that's a great answer. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Big Mike, I must give you your props. And that is on top of all the praise you're getting in the chat and all these live questions. If people want to connect with you, what's the best way? Is it your MySpace page?
MySpace for sure. I think I still have it. Just kidding. Definitely Facebook and Instagram.
I'll briefly share screen. This is Big Mike on Facebook, and this is him on Instagram. So if you search for his name, Michael Loera, aka Big Mike, you'll find him on Facebook, and you'll find him on the same name on Instagram. Are there any other places where you like people to reach out to you if they want to connect and network with you?
Phone number. Shoot me a text. We'll schedule a call. I'm still doing 2 hours a day. If you want to get a hold of me quick, 3 to 5 a.m. If you want to schedule it, I think I'm 2.5 weeks out right now for the afternoons, we could do that. But I want to talk to you. I never want to be unreachable. I remember how it is when you were first getting started. I want to be your friend, and I want to help you succeed. I've helped a total of 13 people land their first deal, and I'm not stopping.
That is 3 to 5 a.m. Arizona time. Is that correct?
Arizona time.
That is an amazing example of consistency. We talk here about 90% of people are chasing deals, not relationships, and you're demonstrating what it's like to really chase relationships. With that in mind, how important is it to use social media for networking? How important is JJ's group in what you're doing?
It is definitely on the very top of the list. Without friends, you can go far by yourself, but you want to create a legacy and go even further, you got to have a group of people that, hey, you can call and ask a question. There's people that charge for answering questions. I'm like, I'm your homie. I'll tell you exactly what the answer is. So having a group of people is definitely a game changer. This is the group to network in for sure. Seriously, guys, you are in the right place with the right group of people at the right time right now.
Captain Save a Home is your homie, aka Big Mike.
I do want to end with something, Sonny, if I may.
Please do.
Okay. I want you guys to decide beforehand if you're going to get into this, whether it's real estate or wholesaling or anything in life. Decide beforehand if you're going to get into it, but when it's time to go, go. You're playing to win. I rather fail knowing that I gave it my all and I tried it, or win and double down. But not going and giving it your all, at least for me, it keeps me up at night, knowing that I didn't give it my all. Do not over leverage yourself. If you have questions, find somebody who's also doing the thing that you're trying to do and go for it. Your future you will thank you.
That's a priceless takeaway. Thank you for ending with that, Big Mike. And if you're here live, we're about to do some live networking with Big Mike and some breakout rooms. And if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to give the video a like and leave a comment about a takeaway you got from Big Mike. Show him that love and give him that feedback. And just thank you so much for watching Flipside Up with JJ. We will see you soon in the world of virtual networking.